La la la, hey, yeah, yeah.
Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. We're going to discuss a very serious issue now, and I think a lot of people don't realize what exactly to do when it comes to a cycling accident and a
or
vehicle
that they can
collision.
do anything.
Exactly,
You know?
and that's why we have invited personal injury lawyer Brenda Hollingsworth to the show. Brenda, welcome back. It's great to have you here.
Thank you
Hi,
very much.
Brenda.
Nice to be here. Hi.
Let's start off, first of all, talking about the different types of accidents, because being a personal injury lawyer, you've probably seen quite a few. What are the more
For sure.
common cycling accidents we're seeing out there?
Well, one of the most surprising accidents that I keep seeing over and over again are cyclists getting hit when drivers open the door. So a driver parks, opens the door to get out, doesn't check for a cyclist goes over the door.
Right.
Almost invariably ends up with broken collarbone. If they're not wearing helmets, can be a serious head injury as well. So that keeps coming into my office and is obviously something that happens over and over. Also very common, motor vehicle hitting a cyclist, motor vehicle turning right, cyclist going through, and of course as a car you have to wait. Cyclist has the right of way to either go straight or turn.
Right.
Yeah, because typically it's kind of like a motorcycle. It's like a vehicle.
Absolutely
Right?
it is.
Okay, so if the motorcycle was going through, you'd be waiting for that, right?
sure.
You have to wait for the... Okay, in this situation, both of those situations that you gave that, like you said, are very, very common.
Yes.
How is it determined who's at fault? And who is at fault? For example, is it the motorist's duty to check the side view mirror before they open the door, or is it the cyclist's duty as well to watch to make sure?
Yeah, well, absolutely. In the case of the car door being open, it's absolutely the fault of the motor vehicle. No question. You can't open a door into an open traffic lane without checking first. So that one's easy. But when both the car and the cyclist are moving, it becomes more difficult. And that's really why, I mean, it's not your job as anybody involved in the accident to figure out whose fault it is. That's why it's important to call the police. And
Right.
unfortunately, many car cyclist accidents don't involve the police when they should. So that's one of the important messages, is call the police. If you had a car accident, 9 times out of 10 you're going to call the police.
Absolutely.
Should be no different when you've got a bicycle.
So that's the no-brainer, I think, for a lot of people, but you're saying they're not doing it. What are some of the other steps they should be taking? Obviously, call the police is a big one.
Right.
What about some others?
Well, something else that a lot of people don't know is that you are actually covered by your car insurance for accident benefits if you're in a bicycle accident. And that is going to be, I'm sure, a surprise to a lot of viewers because you don't think about it. So even if you're at fault as the cyclist, you should call your own car insurance company and say, I've been in a bicycle accident that involved a car, and those accident benefits will kick in. So those are things like rehabilitation benefits. If you need physio, your car insurance is going to provide it. Or if you're off work, there's an income replacement benefit. And you don't have to be in your car to qualify for that.
So is that the majority of people are covered under insurance? They just don't know it? Should they be looking
Absolutely.
at their insurance to make sure?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, anybody who has car insurance has accident benefits. It's part of the mandatory insurance we have in Ontario. If you're somebody who has a bicycle and not a car, you're still covered, but then you'd be covered under the car insurance of the car that hit you.
Oh,
Okay.
right,
So
okay.
the primary responder is your own insurance, but if you don't have it, there's always someone. In fact, there's even a government pot of last resort. So if you were hit by a car that didn't have insurance, there would still be accident benefits available to you.
I was going to say, what about house insurance? Would that cover a cyclist?
House insurance will be pretty much the only way to get your bike covered.
Okay.
Or tenant insurance. So even if you're not at fault and another car hits your bike, that person's car insurance doesn't cover the damage to your bike, which breaks a lot of cyclists' hearts. But really, it's covered, you know, either under your tenant's insurance or your house insurance. That's where you get your bike replaced.
Let's talk litigation.
Sure.
How do you decide on whether someone should come and see somebody like you?
Right. Well, if you have an injury, you should probably get a free consultation with a personal injury lawyer. Every personal injury lawyer in Ottawa offers a free consultation, so go do it.
Yeah.
And then there is a test you have to meet to be able to sue in Ontario. You have to have a serious and permanent injury, and a personal injury lawyer can help you understand what that means. It's you know, maybe not as serious as you might think, something
Right.
that impacts your life. And if a lawyer feels you have a serious and permanent injury, then you will pursue. Now, 95% of cases don't go to court, so most likely you're looking at a settlement, but sometimes they do.
Right.
Yeah, more often they're going to go to court if it's unclear who caused the accident.
Okay.
That's really when you get into real litigation.
As we understand it, you have 10 tips, basically, that you say people should and shouldn't do. We've covered a few of them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Chit-chatting while we've been talking here.
Yeah.
What are some that we've missed in that 10 tips, some big ones?
Well, getting early medical attention is really important and something that people don't do. I have had cases where 10 days later, somebody discovers they have a fractured ankle from an accident. And so sometimes x-rays, if there's swelling, x-rays don't always show. And a lot of people think, oh, it's just a sprain, I'll be fine.
Right.
The longer you wait to get medical attention, the harder it is to prove that it was the accident that caused the injury. What if something happened in the intervening time?
Good advice.
Yeah, so that's probably the most important one. Calling the police. One thing is getting safe after the accident. Cyclists tend to love their bikes.
Right.
And so instead of getting themselves out of oncoming traffic, they worry about picking up the pieces of their bike. So that's an obvious one, but in the heat of the moment, people forget. Before getting your bike fixed, get the damage documented, because once it's fixed, you know,
Obviously, photographs are a good part of that.
Absolutely.
You gave this to TL and I. Can people get a copy of this from you?
That's right. That's the 10 steps to take after an accident. And you can order that on our website,
Okay.
which is www.personalinjuryottawa.ca. And down the